So try to wrap this up. Throughout your life thus far, what do you think has been the best lesson you believe that you've learned so far?
I do speak about this often. But I'll share here. So, growing up, because I didn't have a father, I knew that whole placement was in me. Like, I'm missing something. And I've always wanted to be a good father. Even from when I was like 16, I was like writing down, I'm going to name my son Khalil. He's going to be Superman. Like, because like not having a father in your life, I was angry. You know what I'm saying? My mom got remarried to my stepfather. He was an amazing man. I was so angry I couldn't even accept him as mine.
Right.
You know what I mean? And also because of the things that my father did to our family as well. So I became a great father. Like, you know what I mean? Mom will say like, yo, Troy's a great father. But a lesson in life was what I didn't see. I didn't see any marriages. So I knew I was missing my father. And I wanted to become a great father, but I didn't know what becoming a great husband would be like. And a lesson in my life was like, look at the family dynamic all the way around, not just one part, but every part. And maybe we'll talk about that one day. But a lesson for me was, and somebody said this to me the other day, don't just strive to be a good father. Don't just strive to be a good father because that's what you're missing. Strive to be the best father that your child needs. And also strive to be the best husband, the best partner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like family dynamics will shift all the time. But like, give them what they need. They can be their best version. So now I get an opportunity to be like, okay, son, you've had a best father. You've had a great father. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So now my thing is going to be, how can I make sure you're a great husband?
Right.
How can I make sure you're the best version of yourself? You know what I mean? So that you can give your children what they need. You can give your family what they need. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to become something that you didn't have.
Man, I love that. And you know what? You talking about the fathers. I actually just reconnected with my dad this year. We've had an estranged, relationship. And it actually, I have to shout out one of my homegirls. I'm not really on Facebook. I have a page, but it's pretty much deactivated as far as I'm concerned. And a couple of years ago, I just kind of had this thought, like I was going to the UK for work, or I was coming off of a trip in Europe for work, and I decided to spend 2 days in London. And I knew that he lives out there, and I was trying to, get a hold of him. And I had this email, and I got a bounce back. And the only one that was trying to make that work was my grandfather, but he had passed away, so no one else had any kind of form of communication with him. But I knew he had a Facebook account, so I asked my homegirl, I was like, hey, can you shoot him a message? And literally, Troy, 2 years later, this guy responds, because it was in his like instant messenger, and I guess people don't check that or whatever.
Wow.
And that was literally like 3 months ago.
Oh my God.
And then she calls me up and like, yo, your dad just responded to me. And he's like, yo, here's his number. He's gonna, or give him. I was like, give him my number. He calls me, WhatsApp, have a conversation. Now we communicate every week. I knew I had a half brother and half sister I never met. I finally saw their pictures. I know how old they are. I learned their names. And it's like, I'm like, we communicate like every week. And then speaking to him on the phone, I realized sometimes I say to my mom, I'm like, am I really your son? Because we're like almost so different.
Yeah.
But speaking to my dad, I was like, I get a lot from this guy. Like, we were talking about this. We're talking about investment property. He's like, yeah, I got one here. And I was like, so I'm like, it's like it's almost like I'm rediscovering myself through building a relationship with this man. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm finally at this place. Like, for me, I never had any bitter feelings or ill will towards my dad. You know what I mean? Now I'm just at this stage where I'm just out of curiosity. I want to know this person, and I want to also know my half brother and half sister, because I grew up as an only child. It was just me and my mom. And so I want to, you know, be a part of their lives if they want me in there, of course.
That's amazing.
But like now I have a real motivation to go back to London and kind of experience that because they live just outside of Brixton. So I'm looking forward to that experience,
Oh
man.
man, that's beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man.
Now, fun part, real quick.
Yes, sir.
So this is actually the 3 questions part. So actually, there's a couple of things that you hit on today that made me come up with this game. So while I turned 40 this past summer, I was in the middle of the jungle in Costa Rica, and I got this random thought, and it said, "No one will talk you into or out of more things than yourself." So it made me realize that a lot of people, when we're talking about self-regulation, we struggle with self-talk. And if your self-talk, if you don't know how to have constructive, positive conversations with yourself, you can cheat yourself out of opportunities. I know this because I've done this. Whether you're sitting in a boardroom and you have the answer to a problem, but you're too afraid or shy to say it, and then you hear somebody else say it, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's beautiful! It's amazing! Let's do it." Or whether it's a beautiful young lady you see, and that could potentially be your wife, your fiance, your lover, and you talk yourself out of it. You're like, "Oh no, I can't," whatever. So I came up with this card game, 3 questions named after the podcast, to help you to improve your self-talk, because I feel like it's such an instrumental activity in your life. So what I want you to do, Troy, I want you to pull 1 or 2 cards from this deck here and answer the questions to your best of your ability.
This one?
Yeah.
Let me choose this one. All right. What do I love to do? Oh man. I love being with my kids, being with my family. They drive me, you know what I'm saying, crazy, but they also drive. Sorry.
No worries.
Not a smoker's cough, don't worry. They drive me to my joy, to my happy place, to my peaceful place, and to get away from it all. Like one thing that I like to do is play ball. You know what I'm saying? Like weekly. I'm in my 40s as well too, so it's not my 16-year-old dunking game now, but that's something that I generally enjoy doing.